everyone. So I decided to come out and do a little test run of my video equipment. It's a little low budget. I don't, the camera arm I have / tripod is a little makeshift of what stuff I had around the garage. So we're going to see how this season goes, see how I can do, and maybe I'll scrape some change together and invest in one of those much nicer and probably going to do a better job camera arms that attach to a tree. For right now, I got a little makeshift setup like you see here. It's bare bones and simple as you can get, but I think it'll do the job for now. So where I'm at right now is my spot for 2016 in Tiger Bay Management Area. I'm in what I call one of the transition zones between the cypress heads and the planted pine plots that are throughout this forest area, this management area. So I like hunting here. Typically you can find some nice little well-traveled open areas. You get a little bit further away from some of the hunters if you can get deep into this area, and I typically find a few more bucks running around. So a little rundown of what you're looking at. This is probably the main trail that I'm going to be hunting on this year. It's as you can see through there, it's a mix of pines and cypress, and it's fairly clear coming right off. This is about at 11 o'clock from the position that my stand sits, although I'm in a climber so I can rotate that around a little bit. On the left side of it over here, if you can make out, there's some downed trees that have fallen over the years that are still creating a bit of a wall for about 30 to 40 yards, maybe even 50 along this left side. Then back to the right, have another set of downed trees. Some of them just large pines, some of them looks like they'd be the swamp bay, I believe they're called, and they started regrowing. And so this, between the two sets of trees, this center area, essentially a nice funnel. Going out about 30, 40, 50 yards even, once the deer are coming down, they're going to have to pass pretty much directly under my stand to get past this area. They're not going to be able to cross through those trees. Right here at the point of this edge of what's creating the funnel, the down trees, appears to be a well-traveled spot where the deer are moving around there. They're coming right around that point. So even if something's on the back side of the down trees, it's going to have to make its way either 40 yards down, 50 yards down to go around. There is some spots where maybe they're cutting under, but an easy walk is going to bring them right around this front point to here. And if you can make it out, there's a stack of some brush here, which is going to bring them perfectly in for a 10-yard shot right by the base of that cypress. Back more over to the right, looking out across, it's kind of more of an open area. There's a lot of ferns out here, and I don't know if the deer like to eat the new shoots of the ferns. I think I've seen them on my video cameras eating them. I wouldn't call it a food source that you would hunt necessarily because it's so prolific in these areas. It's definitely plenty of it. Right down here at the base is what I believe is called East Palatka holly. These are just starting to get their berries on them, and the deer tend to like to eat them. If you find any of these trees, you'll notice that there's a lot of deer traffic right around the outer edge of it where they're clearing it off. Continuing back to the right, going back a little further, little few open areas. As you can see, it's pretty high with the ferns, some down trees. Don't anticipate too much coming through there. not a well-traveled area unless something's directed it to take a shortcut. Most of the deer that I anticipate either coming down in front of me through the funnel or coming up from behind to approach the funnel will be coming through the area behind me. A little hard to make out due to the branches on this one tree right behind me, which sets me up perfectly. A number of times I've been busted by a deer coming up from behind, me not seeing it, and I go to move an arm, flick a fly off or something, and they end up blowing and going off and running. So I got some good cover behind me to break up any movement if they come sneaking in on me. But that seems to be the more traveled direction, this corridor that I'm set up. It does bring them right under my tree, which I typically don't choose to set up right on top of the trail. The reason for setting up where I am here now is I also wanted to have an option going back all the way around to the left. I wanted to have an option, and I may just have to pull the camera off. Over here at this shooting lane that's right off to my left shoulder. Down here, anything that comes on the far side of the other down trees or comes up from that direction, we've got a good 8-10 foot wide section that's opened up, and if they're walking by I can take a shot. Could have set up in a couple of the other trees that are here. They could have put me a little bit further off of the actual anticipated deer trail that they're using. But I wanted a shot at that down that corridor, and this is the one tree that offered all the shots in front of me and back to my right, as well as this one over my left shoulder. So it pretty much locks up anything that's going to be walking in within 30-40 yards, not to mention this funnel that I have set up, which should bring them in fairly close. Probably put some scent down next to a base of one of these trees, or maybe make a mock scrape over here. Something to bring them as they're coming in to get them to turn a little broadside for me if they're walking directly in. So working my way out from my stand here, right at the edge of the pine plot, and here's one of last year's rubs. Used it a few times. Tree's still alive. Looks like they might have come back by once or twice already this year. And then this pine tree here has got a few broken limbs down low. May have somebody coming working in here. Seeing over here, one of last year's rubs, worked really hard. Another one right here. And from here, leads right out into my stand, which is about 60-70 yards that way. Not hunting on top of these rubs. It's not really open, as you can see right in this area. It's pretty thick, especially for trying to do some archery. As you get back under the canopy some more, it opens up, and I got a nice long shooting lane.